If you're looking to live in Freehold Boro, stick around because I might have the video for you. Today we're going over the top 6 things you need to know before moving to Freehold Boro, and we're going to cover a whole host of things from the location, commute to work, school systems, and a few others. But before we get started, if it is your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon, and I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. On the Live in Central New Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you'll be the first ones to know what's going on in your Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get the video started. The very first thing to know has got to be the location. So as you can see from the map popping up, Freehold Boro is going to be kind of located really centrally, I would say, in Monmouth County, maybe a little bit off to the west in a sense, but for the most part, pretty central. Now, it's also going to just border one town that's going to be Freehold Township, and that's because the Freehold Boro is something called a donut town. So that's when one town is going to or completely surround another one. So Freehold Township completely surrounds the borough. So, and if you hear me call it the borough, that's just to differentiate between the two, because I might go back to township a little bit throughout the video. So you got Freehold Township and Freehold Boro. So just kind of give you a heads up on that. In terms of size, the borough is going to be roughly about 2 square miles, which ranks it in like the lower half of towns from Monmouth County, just for terms of size. There's a couple of major roadways that run through it. You're going to have Route 9, Route 33, 537, and Route 79. So even for a small town, it's got quite a few different roadways to go north, south, east, or west, which is kind of nice. So in terms of that, if you want a major highway, though, say the Garden State Parkway or the New Jersey Turnpike, you're probably slightly closer to the Garden State Parkway, probably about like 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most, versus going over west into the New Jersey Turnpike. So that's it for just basically major roadways and just, I guess, the location in general. The second thing to know is going to be the commute to work. And from being in Freehold Boro, you can actually get to New York City or Philadelphia in roughly about the same time. So let's just start off with Philadelphia. It's going to be a little bit easier here. And your only main way to get there is going to be driving. Unfortunately, the bus and the train aren't going to go out that way, or at least the bus is not in an efficient manner. So with driving yourself, the easiest route is probably just going to be hopping on 537, taking that west until you hit Route 195, or maybe even going on to Route 33 real quick, and also taking that until you hit the New Jersey Turnpike. So either way, you're taking one roadway, you're going out west, and then you're taking the New Jersey Turnpike pretty much almost into Philadelphia at that point. I would say it roughly should take you about an hour and a half-ish, depending on which part of the borough. If you have to go through like the downtown section a little bit, it might eat up a little bit more of your time, especially during rush hour. But say about ballpark about an hour and a half, maybe an hour 45 on like some bad days. Now, when you want to go into New York City, there are a few main options for you. You can take the bus, you can drive yourself, and you can't take the train necessarily out of the borough, but there are some options you can take if you're going to be driving that way anyway. So in driving yourself, the easiest option is probably going to be hopping on Route 9, taking that north until you hit the Garden State Parkway, New Jersey Turnpike, because they actually intersect when you go farther up north, and whichever part or route you need to get into the city in a sense. So with that, you're looking at, I would say on a good day, probably an hour and a half. You're probably close to an hour and 45, and at the absolute max, maybe 2 hours. And that's if you have a really bad traffic day, weather too, something like that. The bus, there's a couple different stops you can take. The best one, in my opinion, is probably just going to be driving over to the Freehold Raceway Mall, which is not far away, and doing the parking ride from over there. Just the simplicity of it, a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about walking a decent distance. You can just drive to and back from your house. So that, to me, would probably be the best one. I would say, again, about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Now, when we want to take the train to New York City, like I said, there's no train that is in the Central Jersey area, unfortunately. There were talks a while back for a Middlesex, Monmouth, and Ocean line, but nothing ever came of it, and unfortunately there isn't one there now. But you can drive up to either Matawan or South Amboy and take the train in from there. It's going to be the same rail line. South Amboy would just be a little bit farther, is the next stop before, or actually after, I guess you would say. So Matawan would be before that, so you'd be on the train a little bit longer, right? So from South Amboy, you're probably looking at an hour into New York City, so you're having a half-hour drive up, an hour on the train. Again, if you timed it absolutely perfectly, it would take that long, but you're probably looking at about an hour and 45 for that total commute. And then the same thing for Matawan, roughly about the same time frame. One thing to mention that is going to be new here in 2025 is the congestion toll prices have increased. So New York City hit New Jersey commuters with a little bit of a peak pay in a sense. And what happens is during the Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., if you're going into the city, so the downtown like Manhattan business district, that's going to be, and you're going to be paying $9 to get into there, just if you're driving your car in your own personal vehicle. So obviously, public transportation is now going to be increased over here. More people are probably going to be willing to take it to be able to save a couple extra bucks on the side. So just something to be aware about. So if you're taking the bus or the train, that's not going to be an issue. But if you are driving your personal vehicle, be ready to pay a little bit extra. And now, not everyone's going to be able to take public transportation. You might need your car, get around the city, talk to some clients, whatever the case is for you, right? But just be aware, in 2025, it's already been started and happening. You are paying more driving yourself. Point number 3 is going to be the school system and education. So according to niche.com, you're going to have the Freehold Boro Public School District is going to be rated a C+. houses about 1,600 students and has a 14-to-1 student-teacher ratio. Now, if you're looking for more of a Catholic school option, something different, maybe you want something with a higher rating, St. Rose of Lima is actually going to be in the Freehold Boro. That's going to be pre-K through 8th grade. I couldn't find anything on the statistics in terms of like the tuition, and it wasn't listed. They're like directly on their website. I'm guessing you have to kind of call and see what it is, but it might typically what happens with a lot of private schools in our area, the higher grades you go up to is going to be more expensive. So they do offer different financial aid, or if you're a parent and you're going to want to work in the school system, apparently they give discounts for that too. So if you want to do want to be on duty for cafeteria, maybe recess and that kind of thing, that's an option too. But overall, that's going to be rated A- according to niche.com. And then lastly, you're going to have Freehold Boro High School. This is going to be rated an A- and also a part of the Freehold Regional High School District, which is going to be rated number 2 in public school districts in all of Monmouth County, which is a nice thing to have. It's also going to be being a part of the Freehold Regional District. There's 6 different high schools in it. So you got Freehold Boro, Freehold Township, Marlboro, Manalapan, Howell, and Colts Neck. So there's a really special program. It's called the Magnet Program. When your child is in 8th grade, in the fall time, they can apply to it, and then they're going to go through an application process. I think there's some testing, and then you're going to have some interviews later on. And if they're accepted, they can actually go attend any of the other 5 public high schools if they apply to that special program. So, for instance, you have LEPS, that's going to be in Manalapan, that's going to be police and EMS. Marlboro has a business school, and then the list goes on and on. I think each school basically specializes in 2 of them. And it looks really good on college applications, but it allows your child to not be stuck to just one school in the district. They can attend any of the others. They would get public busing there, and then if they ever want to drop out of the program, they would then revert back to their old high school. Point number 4, being that we are a real estate channel, is going to be the housing options. We break it down to 3 categories because that's how our MLS works on this. It's going to be adult communities, condos and townhomes, and then single families. So there's not going to be any adult communities going to be in Freehold Boro, so that's going to be out. Next up, here's going to be your condos and townhomes. Now, price points on these are going to be relatively consistent. I would say anywhere between about $275 on the very low end for the one, maybe like the 2-bed condos in the area, up to about $450 for the 3-bed townhome. So somewhere in that bulk. Let's say even just bump it up to $300 to $450. That's going to be between 2 and 3 baths, or 2 and 3 beds, and then 2 and 3 baths as well. So overall, nice price point wise. There aren't going to be a ton of those types of sales throughout the whole process. There's 22 over the course of 2024, and that was out of 116 total sales. So the bulk of the sales are going to be in the single family range. That was going to be 94 to 116. And price point wise, if you're looking for, I would say, a move-in ready home on the smaller side, say maybe your 2-bedroom ranch, or maybe just a two-story, but it's a very small one, under 1,200 square feet, that you could probably get for about $425-ish, maybe $450. And then that's going to run you up to the highest price point in about $830,000 in the Freehold. So at least in the Freehold Boro, I should say. And that's kind of what you're working with. So there's not going to be a wide range of prices. You're not going to be going from 400 all the way up to a couple million. They pretty much cap out around the 830, 850 mark in a sense for the borough, which is nice because you're not going to be spending an extravagant amount, and at the same time still living in a pretty good school district in the area. And one extra thing you're going to want to know just before moving to the borough is there's no concrete plans of doing this so far, but it was brought up in August of 2024 that the planning board and just Freehold Boro in general was thinking about putting in a 400-unit apartment complex. This is going to be somewhere in their downtown area. Obviously, they have to build vertically here. This wasn't going to be townhomes all laid out. They wouldn't have the space for that, given the land that they do have. So that's just something that might potentially come up in the near future. We don't know just yet. Again, very limited on these talks, but just something to look out for. Freehold does have, I would say, an inventory, not a crisis, but there's definitely low inventory between the borough and the township in general right now. And just being able to add another 400 units would be a good thing. Maybe revitalize the downtown a little bit. Again, younger population, whatever the case is. But it's just something to look for. I don't know. The website I got this information from, I don't know how accurate this is, but they said basically the space that they are thinking about putting it would go from $60,000 in taxes to over $1 million for the township. So if you're wondering about incentives for why they want to do that, probably a good reason why right there. Point number 5 will be the shopping and dining options available to you. And Freehold Boro, Freehold Township in general, they have a whole host of different things for you. When it comes to food stores, you're going to have ShopRite, Aldi, Stop and Shop, all within a small location. Then you can even head over to Sam's Club too if you want to get a membership for that. Up and down Route 9, you're going to have a bunch of different small businesses. In the Main Street and downtown area of Freehold Boro is also going to have a couple different shops down there, place to get your haircut, I think jewelry stores, and a couple other different things. On top of all those, you are going to have the Freehold Raceway Mall. When they're filled to max capacity, I think they have about 200 stores over there. They are going under construction with a few different places. Some of the big department stores, I think Nordstrom's and Macy's. No, Macy's is still there. I think it was Nordstrom's or Lord & Taylor. One of them is now out. So a couple different ones, but overall, a lot of different stores, and then pretty much anything you need is probably going to be within 10 minutes of you, maybe 15 at the most. For dining, Freehold Boro is an excellent location. The downtown section, like we just mentioned with some of the shopping area, there's plenty of restaurants lined up all year round out there. So you're going to have anything from a good steakhouse. So you got Charcoal. That's an excellent spot. We had actually had our holiday party for Berkshire over there a couple years back. And while it is pricier, phenomenal to go eat at. Other different restaurants, you got Federici's. That's a legendary Italian spot over in the area. It's been owned in the same family for a very long time. That's a good one. They have the thin crust pizza and some relatively pretty good dishes there too. Then you're going to have maybe the American Hotel, Court Jester, kind of like American cuisines to them, like pub style, for especially for the Court Jester. Phenomenal wings. If you want to go check out a breakfast spot, Sweet Lou's is a nice one. It's actually a family friend of mine and an old teammate of mine whose family runs it. Excellent spot. No bias there at all, but definitely one of my favorite breakfast ones in the area. So overall, just in Freehold Boro in that one strip, you're going to have a bunch. You have a hibachi joint over there too. And if you want to go into maybe like the township area, there's quite a few ones. You got Moore's, Escondido's, literally anything you possibly want is going to be within, again, 5-10 minutes of you. Point number 6 is going to be different entertainment options for you. And again, Freehold Boro does an excellent job of this. So during the summer times, or just the warmer months in general, warmer days, all those restaurants that we just mentioned, they typically have outdoor eating and seating. So that's also something, if it's something you're into and you'll enjoy, definitely a good spot to go, especially during the summer months when you're going to have some of the concerts going on once a week or a couple of days here and there. They're also going to have a once a night movie week, especially for the kids. They'll play things like Toy Story. I think Men in Black was on there and a couple other different ones. So I think Home was it Home Alone or Home Alone 2 this past year was one of those. So awesome videos or just movies to go check out. You kind of just bring your chairs, camp out a little bit. And it's just a nice night in general for you, the family. And then if you want to move a little bit outside of the borough, you're going to have an escape room. Those are pretty fun if you've ever been to one. You basically get like an hour or so locked inside a room with your friends, family, whoever you bring, and you have to figure out your way to get out of them. And they have different levels like easy, medium, and hard. And then if you want to go into Freehold Township, that's going to be I Play America. So that's going to be an indoor amusement park. They're going to have laser tag, rides, arcade games. They have Top Cop Simulator right next door for the adults. So overall, there's so much to do just in Freehold and the surrounding areas. You're probably about maybe 20 to 25 minutes away from the beach, like that Belmar, Asbury Park area. If you go east and if you go west, you're actually going to have Six Flags Great Adventure. They're going to have a couple different theme parks like the Safari Zone, and they have their regular rides like King Ka, El Toro. Actually, I think King Ka might have just got shut down recently, so you're going to have El Toro, and then you're going to have the Hurricane Harbor Water Park. So literally a lot to do within a small radius, I would say, of Freehold. So that's going to be the top 6 things you should know about moving to Freehold Boro. If you're thinking about checking out the area, feel free to reach out. All my contact information is down low in the comments and description. So whether you're 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, even a year out, doesn't matter to me. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. And if you're looking to move to a different part of the Central Jersey area, check out 2 videos popping up and hopefully help out a bit too. Have a great day.